Welcome to Duggar News 24, your daily source for the latest updates, headlines, and deep dives into the world of the Duggars. Subscribe and stay informed 24/7. Jinger Duggar has learned to accept her body less than 2 months after welcoming son Finn. Vulnerable post. Jer took me on a date last night. We went out to dinner and did a little shopping together. Duggar, 31, wrote via her Instagram stories on Thursday, May 29, referring to husband Jeremy Rollo. I needed a few things that work for me in this postpartum season. She continued, for years I struggled with body image and had a distorted view of my body. I believed that if I could just lose a few more pounds, I would finally feel confident and happy with how I looked. But by the grace of God, I found help through accountability during that season. According to Duggar, learning to accept the way she looked was truly transformative, but she admitted it's not always easy. Jinger Duggar didn't eat enough growing up because of fears she was too fat. In moments when old lies crept in, I chose instead to focus on truth and embrace the way God created me. It was incredibly freeing. The Counting on alum wrote, I still enjoyed working out and eating healthy, but my identity was no longer tied to a number on the scale. Years after conquering her body image struggles, Duggar found it strange to gain weight during pregnancy. Before Finn, she gave birth to daughters Felicity and Evangeline in 2018 and 2020, respectively. I remember how strange it felt during my first pregnancy to gain so much weight and actually be okay with it. I gained at least 45 pounds with each of my pregnancies, even while staying active and healthy, Duggar recalled. It was another opportunity to let go of my expectations of what I should look like. Following the arrival of baby No. 3, Duggar is focused on retraining her mindset. God has given me so much joy in this season, she wrote. I still have a soft tummy and lingering pounds, but I'm genuinely happy. I'm not worrying or stressing about it. Instead, I'm embracing the gift and beauty of this moment in my life. Jinger, one of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's 19 children, previously revealed that she felt self-conscious about her weight as a teenager. Jinger Duggar's honest quotes about her upbringing, cult comparisons, modest dressing, and more. I think in this culture around us, there is so much talk about what true beauty is and what we're defined by. If it's by how we look, how we were raised, or how popular we are, whatever those things may be, Jinger exclusively told Us Weekly in May 2021. For me, the wrestling was with my weight and my body image, even though I was very in shape and I didn't need to lose weight. I felt like I needed to, as a 14-year-old girl. I was really wrestling with that. According to Jinger, only Rollo, whom she married in 2016, and her mom were aware of her insecurities. I think just those issues that I had, I wanted others to be able to see that they're not alone, and that there are answers for that, she said, referring to her decision to write about her struggles in her memoir Becoming Free Indeed. And you don't have to feel like you have to measure up to a certain standard of beauty or personality or whatever it may be, but it's about just accepting who you were made to be. Slowly, Jinger realized that she doesn't have to measure up to any perceived beauty standards or ideals. There are days where I feel like it will come up in my mind for a second, but it's not something that I struggle with on a daily basis, she added to Us. I mean, everybody will look in the mirror at some point and say, oh, like, I feel terrible. Or if I've been eating super unhealthy, like, I know, okay. I just got to get back on track. Jinger Duggar Rollo, known to many from Counting On, has never shied away from sharing her heart with fans. But recently, just weeks after welcoming her son Finn, she opened up in one of her most vulnerable posts yet, a candid reflection on postpartum life, weight gain, and the journey of self-acceptance that continues to shape her into the woman she is today. It was a simple date night, the kind that busy parents crave. Jeremy, her husband of nearly 9 years, had suggested they take a break from the sleepless nights and endless diaper changes. Let's go out, he said, his eyes full of warmth. And so they did. Dinner at a cozy spot in Los Angeles, followed by browsing through shops. Jinger searching for clothes that would make her feel comfortable and confident in this new season of postpartum recovery. Later that evening, as she settled onto their couch with baby Finn snuggled close and Felicity and Evangeline asleep in their rooms, Jinger decided to share her thoughts. She opened Instagram and began typing, vulnerable post. Jer took me on a date last night. We went out to dinner and did a little shopping together. I needed a few things that work for me in this postpartum season, but what started as a simple update for fans became something deeper. As her fingers moved across the screen, Jinger felt her heart open, pouring out reflections she had kept tucked away for years. Jinger admitted that for much of her life, she wrestled silently with body image issues. Even as a teenager, she was gripped by an invisible force, the constant pressure to be thinner, prettier, good enough. Growing up as one of 19 children in a high-profile family, Jinger always felt eyes watching her. Whether from the cameras that captured their daily life or the critical glances that came when they ventured out, there was always a sense of being measured against an impossible standard. She wrote, "For years I struggled with body image and had a distorted view of my body. I believe that if I could just lose a few more pounds, I would finally feel confident and happy with how I looked." It wasn't that anyone in her family shamed her weight, at least not outright, but the subtle messages from culture, community, and even her own inner voice chipped away at her sense of worth. As a young teen, she often skipped meals, convinced that hunger was a sign of strength, of willpower. "I didn't eat enough because I was afraid of being too fat," she later admitted in an interview. But what Jinger came to see years later was how those choices weren't empowering, they were imprisoning. Marriage was the beginning of a turning point. When Jinger met Jeremy Rollo, his quiet confidence and unwavering love challenged the narratives she had believed about herself. He never commented on her weight, never hinted that she should look different. To Jeremy, she was beautiful exactly as she was. With Jeremy's support, and as Jinger often said, by the grace of God, she began to seek healing. She found accountability through close friends, prayer, and personal growth. Slowly, she unlearned the lies that had shaped her self-image for so long. "Learning to accept the way I looked was truly transformative, but it's not always easy," she confessed. There were days she felt strong, able to dismiss the nagging doubts. Other days the old insecurities crept back. But on those days, Jinger chose truth over lies. She reminded herself that her worth was not measured by a number on the scale or the size of her jeans. When Jinger became pregnant with Felicity in 2018, she entered yet another chapter in her journey. She knew pregnancy meant weight gain, but knowing didn't make it easy. "I remember how strange it felt during my first pregnancy to gain so much weight, and actually be okay with it. I gained at least 45 pounds with each of my pregnancies, even while staying active and healthy." There were moments when Jinger would stand before the mirror, her body transformed by life growing inside her, and feel the old fears tug at her heart, but instead of retreating into unhealthy patterns, she embraced the opportunity to let go of rigid expectations. By the time Evangeline arrived in 2020, Jinger felt more at peace with the changes that motherhood brought. And when Finn was born, she stepped into postpartum life with a mindset shaped by grace rather than guilt. "God has given me so much joy in this season. I still have a soft tummy and lingering pounds, but I'm genuinely happy. I'm not worrying or stressing about it. Instead, I'm embracing the gift and beauty of this moment in my life." She knows she could focus on losing the baby weight faster, that she could let those nagging thoughts take root. But Jinger has chosen differently. She enjoys working out, eating nutritious food, and staying active, but not to punish herself or meet an external standard. She does it because she loves feeling strong and energized for her children. Jinger's honesty resonated deeply with her followers. Comments poured in, thanking her for being real about the struggles so many mothers face but feel ashamed to admit. In a world flooded with snap-back culture, where postpartum bodies are expected to look untouched by pregnancy within weeks, Jinger's words were a balm. Perhaps most powerful for Jinger is the hope that her daughters will grow up with a different message about beauty. She wants Felicity and Evangeline, and now baby Finn, to see that their value lies in who they are, not what they look like. There is so much talk about what true beauty is and what we're defined by, if it's by how we look, how we were raised, or how popular we are. For me, the wrestling was with my weight and my body image, even though I was very in shape and I didn't need to lose weight. Jinger reflected on how, as a 14-year-old, she felt trapped by comparison. She hopes her children will instead feel free to be themselves, to enjoy the bodies God gave them, and to find confidence in His design. Despite all the growth and healing, Jinger is quick to say she hasn't arrived. There are still days she looks in the mirror and hears the old critical voice whispering, days when a glance at a photo or a glimpse of her reflection triggers a fleeting doubt. But now, she knows how to answer those voices. There are days where I feel like it will come up in my mind for a second, but it's not something that I struggle with on a daily basis. Everybody will look in the mirror at some point and say, "Oh, I feel terrible," or if I've been eating super unhealthy, I know I just have to get back on track. Jinger's story is not about perfection. It's about perseverance, about learning to see herself through a lens of grace and offering that same grace to other women walking the same road. As she concluded her post, Jinger left her followers with a word of encouragement. Wherever you are on your journey, know that you're not alone. You don't have to measure up to any worldly standard. You were wonderfully made. Embrace that truth and let it set you free. In sharing her heart, Jinger has given countless others the courage to confront their own insecurities, to speak openly about their struggles, and to find freedom on the other side of shame. And as she snuggles baby Finn a little closer, watches Felicity and Evangeline laugh and play, and leans into the love of her husband, Jinger knows that the greatest beauty in her life isn't found in a mirror. It's in these moments, the messy, joyful, ordinary moments that make up a life well loved.